This is the CMRC Youth Advisory Picnic, where migrants and refugees have gathered from many different ethnicities and backgrounds, all in hopes of transitioning into Australia. With the ever-changing nature of settlement in Australia, some groups of people have transitioned easier than others. Australia had joined forces with America in the Vietnam War during the 1960s and 70s. However, Australia became home to almost 100,000 people fleeing the war, many of whom were refugees. Dr. Phu Ho, leading obstetrician from Bankstown, tells us of his experiences when conscripted in the Vietnamese army.
I was 17, just a couple of months before I was conscripted into the army to fight with Cambodia. We lived next to the airport where a lot of fighting. I can see the war, and my experience during the war was, we grown up, we have to live with it, and the next day we don't know what the next day will be like.
Dr. Ho became a prisoner of war after deserting from the army, where he became very sick. He describes his escape and his journey to Australia.
So one day I almost died with malaria, so they sent me back to the city for treatment. While receiving treatment in Vietnam, my father thought, if I go back to jungle, I will die. So he tried to borrow money. So he organized for me to escape from the boat. We went down to the Mekong River. Lucky we got on a boat.
A boat such as this carried many refugees to Australia.
We left Vietnam on this very crowded boat. We got about 140 people in small boats. We were on journey for 4 nights and 5 days.
Unlike many refugees, the Vietnamese people had a relatively smooth transition into Australia. The War Memorial in Cabramatta commemorates their sacrifice during the Vietnam War. Dr. Ho explains the help he had when he first arrived, particularly that of his English teacher Christine, and the type of life Australia has given him.
My first teacher named Christine, she was amazing. She tried to help us by all means. They know that we were having terrible experience from the war, from the refugee camp. She tried to help us to teach, to learn, and I learned a lot. I didn't feel any obstacle, I feel very warm welcome. They gave me opportunity. The dream can come true quite easy here.
While Dr. Ho integrated well into the Australian community, this is not the case for all refugees. Arash Horan is an Afghan refugee and an aspiring Olympian. He fled the Afghan war with no friends or family and was subsequently sent to Christmas Island by Australian authorities. He describes the horrors he faced.
Christmas Island Detention Centre was one of the hardest experiences that I have in my life. And the things that I've seen there is hard to describe it in words. And every single day we had to fight just to survive. Most of the time the food was expired and security was useless. 5,000 people in a surrounded detention center, a small area. So I've seen people committed suicide, a friend of mine. So those horrible experiences hard to forget, and it will stay in my mind forever.
Upon arriving in Sydney, Arash was isolated due to the language barrier, and without a home, Arash turned towards Taekwondo, and in particular, the Global Martial Arts Gym near Parramatta.
Global martial art is kind of my second home, and I have so much love and respect for these people and for this place. And without this help and support that I got from global martial art, I wouldn't be able to overcome all these challenges in front of me in Australia.
While Arash experienced a tough transition into Australia, organisations like CMRC aim to aid this journey. Hina Khan, representative of CMRC, explains why different people will experience different transitions into Australia.
Some people have had a relatively smooth journey and some people have seen family members pass away. They might not see family members anymore. Refugee settlement changes. So previously there was more Afghans, now there's more Syrian arrivals, and so that can sometimes change the dynamic needed. So before there might have been more Persian or Afghan interpreters required, and now there's more Arabic speakers that are required, and that's the different cultural set that comes with it.